Hey everybody, it's your lovely Lotus Blossom Lizzie, and today we are going to be making some pocket pieces. That's what I'm going to call them. Some pocket pieces and Christmas ephemera. And of course you can make these with some different types of stamps as well, but we'll get into that in 1 second. So before we get started, I always like to invite you to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Make sure you hit the notification button, hit all, and then you'll get notified when more videos like this one come out. You can also head over to the Patreon channel where you can support the channel and also get more content and also early access to the videos that are coming out here and rewards. So you can do that by going to patreon.com/LizForAday. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. And so I did a few of these in advance, so I'll let you take a peek. And these are, some of them are Christmassy and some are not. And I thought these would be really nice to do. Just some small pieces that can be journaled on, or you can make them into clusters because y'all know how much we love clusters. This one is not Christmas related, but like I said, you can do this for any type of ephemera that you would like. And here's another one with Santa Claus. Yeah, I'm dropping stuff all over the place. And a little girl there. So I'm going to show you how I actually made these. You can use regular paper for this, but for this I actually use something out of the ordinary to make these. And you can see the back and the front of these, they have like that nice vintage feel. You can hear that. And I made these with actually a calculator tape. And the calculator tape, I've had the calculator tape for a very long time because I had a calculator back in the day. And this tape used to be white and it just turned brown. Now I've since sold the calculator, but actually it was a cash register, but I kept these for some reason. I didn't want to sell them because they weren't white. And at that time, I wasn't even doing junk journaling, but I felt like I could use it for something. So I'm finally using it for something, and that's going to be for this ephemera. So I have plenty of rolls of this. As a matter of fact, I just went to a thrift store and I saw lots of these tapes there. So that's some place that you can look for these also. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to rip some of these up, and y'all, this is going to be a project 20. So let's move some of those out the way. I did some ahead of time. So you can make the strips as short or as long as you like. So if you're the measuring type, you can do that. You can use a tear guide, but I just rip it. I like the way the edges looked on these. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to tear off 20 of these. So this is what a 20 of these look like. And I'm just going to put these aside, and we can put this aside as well. So the next part of this, I'm going to take some of my, you could get some wax paper, some deli paper for this, or if you don't mind grunging your surfaces up, what we're going to do is get our vintage photo. And you can use any color that you want. And I'm just going to use this brush. This is actually a makeup brush that I got from the store, and I'm going to use that. And I'm going to kind of lightly brush around the sides. Now, this part kind of takes a little bit to do, and because my tapes are they already kind of have that brownish look to them, I can just do this kind of lightly, and I just try to get the corners and the edges good because I like for it to have a nice brown edge. Now again, you don't have to use any distress inks at all if you don't want to. Then I just go down the middle, and sometimes I'll go down the back of these as well because I don't know, it just, to me, it just has a finished look. It's like if one side doesn't have the grunginess on it and then the other side does, it's kind of weird to me. But if I know that I'm going to be just if I know that I'm just going to just glue this down to a page, and I wouldn't worry about the back part. So I am going to go through and I'm going to grunge all the edges on all 20 of my pieces. Okay, so I have everything all grunged up, and I want to try a few different things. So I was able to kind of get some different types of colors by, well, not colors but patterns. And what I did was I just took my distressed ink and I turned it over, and I just smudged it like one time. So you can put as much ink on there if you want to. And I also wanted to try to like just ball one of them up. Yeah, I like doing this too for some texture. So I just balled it up, and I'm just gonna kind of accentuate the wrinkles a little bit. Oh, and I also want to tell you that you can join us over at the Facebook group, which is Junk Journal Buddies as well. And all the links to the description and the supplies that I'm using will be below. I said to the description. All the links that I'm mentioning and the supplies will be in the description below. Okay, I think I got it right that time. So you can see how it made like a nice little texture there. Okay, so let's move on to the next step. I'm still going to use the distressed inks. So the next thing that I did was I took out some, not all, because I have a lot. I took out some of my stamps. So I'm going to use some of these, and we're going to do some stamping together. So I have like this stamp that I've never used, a reindeer stamp. So let's see if I can get him kind of smooched up good to use. He's kind of big. Y'all, I need ink in the worst way, but since I don't have any, this is just how we have to roll for now until I get some ink. So that should be enough. Let's do one of these. And I want some of these to be kind of like journal pages, but so I don't want to cover the whole thing, but you definitely could. So let's see how this is going to look. Like a crazy reindeer, but it does look like a reindeer. So I'm just going to leave that one like that. So let's try something different. And I had all these foam stamps that I wanted to try to use those too. So that's why I'm using the foam stamps. But I actually have, you know, the clear stamps. I have the block stamps, but I just took out these and some of the block stamps to see how they were going to come out. Now, it's not totally filled with ink, but I think it'll still give me a good imprint. And I'm kind of also printing off of the side of the paper. And voila. And then I'm going to do it a little bit more. Almost give the paper kind of like a pattern. So I like that. And then let's do a little bit more at the top here. And see, and then it gives the paper like a pattern, which is really nice. And let's do this one. It says peace. And this is kind of an older stamp that I got. And I got this in a bag of stamps, I think, at like Goodwill or thrift store. I don't know. And then I'm going to put this at the top. See how this one's going to come out. Looks nice. I'm going to do again at the bottom, kind of off of the paper. So it looks like it was a whole roll of paper and then I just ripped it off. So that looks pretty good. Alright, next. Let's see, believe. Let's take our crinkled up paper here and do this. Alright. I'm going to do this. No, I'll do it this way still. instead of the way I was going to do it. I'm going to go off the paper a bit. All right, the leaf, and let's see, I have like this little stamp here, which is an angel. Everybody likes angels at Christmas time. All right, so we got a few angels. And so you could definitely, like I said, you can do this with any kind of stamps. It doesn't have to be like Christmas stamps. And you can do just regular paper with this. Of course, it would take you a little bit more time because you would have to rip that paper up, you know. And let's do it on this side this time. I'm doing it off the side because I don't want to put her on the whole paper. But again, that's an option. I could do it that way too. So you can see a little bit of the angel on here on the side. I'm going to leave that one like that. And I think I will try to put the whole angel on here. Yeah, I didn't take out all of my stamps, but I took out a few. I took out a few of them. I have a lot of wooden stamps. I have been trying to actually organize everything. So that's pretty. Alright, let's get a different stamp. And I got this big old stamp, and it's a snowman stamp. I love these. I actually made some ornaments with these last year with just, you know, like a heavyweight cardstock and the stamp, and it came out really beautiful. So I'm going to put him at the bottom. Now, I love snowmen. They're like the epitome of wintertime Christmas. Because I grew up in the snow, so I liked it. So I think, do I want to just leave him like that? No. He has to have something at the top too. Because I'm feeling that it needs to be like almost like a repeating pattern type of thing. And next, let's put that over to the side, and let's see, we have another Christmas tree. You'll also notice I'm not really cleaning my stamps off because, you know, that's just not my MO. I'm not a clean the stamps kind of person. Alright, I'm going to leave that one like that. And we have a Let It Snow stamp. I think I actually purchased a few of these, but y'all know they probably was on sale because I don't pay full price for any of my crafting stuff ever. That's just not how she does it. Put this in the middle. Let it snow, let it snow. Now, I grew up in the snow, but I do not miss the snow. Nope. No way, no how. Y'all leave in the comments if you like the snow, if you live in the snow area, or if you moved away from the snow area and you missed it. I would love to hear your comments because I like the snow, but I don't want to live in it because driving in snow is quite horrible. So part of my adult life and my child life, I grew up in the snow. I mean, I lived in the snow and had to drive in the snow, and I'm over it. And of course I played in the snow too, because you know, that's how we do it. Gotta get the chance to play in the snow. I remember when we were children and we would go out, and we wouldn't stay outside for too long, maybe like about an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours tops, because it was just too cold outside to stay out for too long. I have this really big stamp, so I'm gonna try to, let's see, I'm just trying to see how much ink I'm gonna put on here. So we would go out and we would play in the snow, and we would be so wet when we came back in. But the house that we lived in, it had those vents that were like in the floor, and we would just take off our clothes there, and you could warm up by those vents as well. But we would put our, you know, our wet socks and our wet mittens and everything, because you know we've been out probably throwing snowballs and stuff like that, and so we wanted to make sure that everything got dry so we could go out later and do it all over again. But you know, I'm also from that generation where it wasn't going to be a lot of running in and out of the house, or you know, something bad was going to happen to you. So no running in and out of the house. Have your fun, and that be that. Okay, I like that too. Still have a few, because y'all, this is a Project 20. It's an easy Project 20 also. So I am editing this down just a smidge, but it didn't take me that long to do. Now this Christmas tree doesn't look like it's picking up too much, but we're gonna find out in a minute how much ink it's picking up. Because you know, with junk journaling and making ephemera, you can't really make a mess, so I like that. Alright, so we'll leave that. And these papers, even though they're old, they're not that brittle, so I would still be able to do some sewing on these if I wanted to. Or, you know, add them to another paper and then do some sewing. Because y'all know I always got to have some sewing. I love my sewing. Let's put 2 reindeers, except for one reindeer's head is off. But that's okay. Let's put him up here to make up for that. Yeah. All right. And I have like this long Christmas tree, so let's use him. See how he comes out. Let me do it this way. I know I got these at a thrift store. They've never been used either. Never been used. And I'm going to do the whole thing. See how that comes out. You always want to hold your stamp down a little bit so it'll soak into whatever paper that you're using. Okay, that came out quite well. So now, that's all the stamps that I took out, but that's okay. I am going to do a little bit of a repeat on some of these. Let's do this one down the middle. Do it on a little bit of a bigger paper. And because even though it'll have like the image right down the middle, you'll still be able to write on these if you want to. Ooh, I like that. I love the snowman. I must be missing some of these because I know I had some more snowmen and I don't see them. Let me see. Do I see another snowman? No. Oh, here we go. Here's another snowman. And I was getting ready to say, I thought I had them all together, which I did. I just didn't remember. But I have all my Christmas stamps all together now, so that's a beautiful thing. That is a beautiful thing. So now I can just pull out all of my Christmas stamps all at the same time. So let's get this little fella that's also on this stamp here. And I was going to do these like in some different colors, but I decided to just keep it kind of vintagey looking. And we have one more, and let's see. I think I'm going to do the angel again because I like the angel. Who doesn't love an angel? Let's give her a good little slathering here. And I'm going to do her off the side, but this time just get her more on the paper, I think, because I didn't have her on the paper good. And Wapam. Of course, when we get done with all this, then we'll look at everything. So I'm going to just clear this up, and then I'm going to come right back. Okay, I wanted to give my pieces just a little bit of extra something. Let me just move the camera a little bit. Some more texture. So I took out my Vagabond, and this is a die cutting machine, in case you don't know. And I got my plates out. Yeah, because I don't play with my machine as much as I would like to. So I'm going to play with it today. And I also took out some of my embossing folders, and a few of these Probably almost all of these I got from Penny. She gifted these to me, so thank you, Penny Pen. I really appreciate it. And so I'm just gonna pick a few, and I'm gonna stick some of my imprints in here. I think that in these I probably can do 2 at a time. So just to give them, oops, sorry, a little extra something. And this should make quick work of this. Y'all, I tried something as a little bit of an experiment, because ever since I've seen the embossing plates, I always wondered, can you just like roll something over the top of those and get the impression? Well, I did a little bit of an experiment, like I said, and the answer is you can use a rolling pin and it will work, but you know, it does require a little bit of muscle, but you can definitely roll over your embossing folder and it'll leave an imprint. All right, so I couldn't get this whole thing on the camera, y'all, because you know the ecosystem on my desk. But I always run mine through. I go one way and then I'll come back. Alright, so let's see how these look. Dun, 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 dun. And I'll give you some close-ups so you can really see. So these have like a lot of texture on them. So let's put those aside, and I'm going to try a different plate. And these plates don't really have like a Christmas kind of embossing on it, Christmas decoration embossing, but I think it's Christmassy enough. The point is to just give it some extra, a little bit of extra oomph, basically. Give it some extra something, because it already has the Christmas vintagey look to it. And then, and I'll have a link to the Vagabond too. And I like this. They have the machines that you can crank, but you know, gotta watch my fingers too. There we go. I like the electric one a lot. But you don't want to have your finger in a spot where it's going to get pinched. So just be careful with that. And if you're doing this with the children, then you definitely want to make sure that you don't pinch yourself. So let's take those off, y'all. These are fantastic. They feel so good. And sometimes, like the embossing, it'll like go all the way through and almost cut the paper, but these are coming out really perfect. So this tape is actually kind of like the perfect thickness, not too thin and not too thick. So let's use another one, and I have some small ones here, and I should have got 2 of these out and I could do 2 at a time, but since I didn't, let's just do the one. Let's do one and go through. And always just put them up at the end. End, my friend. And I thought about editing this part out, but I find stuff like this fun to watch myself, so I thought you might find it fun too. So you can see this one is, I have to carefully peel this one off. It didn't go all the way through, but it made like some deep embossing on that one, which is fantastical. Let's try another one. And of course, I don't have like a lot of embossing embossing folders, but I have enough where I can get like a few different details, which is kind of cool. And let us get these in here. And these are going to go into some Christmas books that I'm doing. I'm going to have some ephemera with those Christmas books, so I wanted to make sure that I have plenty of Christmassy ephemera. And a great way to make ephemera, of course, is to use your stamps. So use them if you got them, people. Alright, I still have a few left. So let's use a different one this time. You can see I'm not really putting too much thought into this. I guess if your embossing folder has like a pattern to it, then you want to make sure your patterns are going the right way. But these are kind of ambiguous patterns, so I think it's going to be all right. And they're androgynous. Okay. And back in we go. This is kind of a nice relaxing activity too. I'm kind of not taking my time because I'm with you all, but I mean, it doesn't take that much thought, so even if you rush through it, it's not a whole lot you can mess up. Now, I will say, no, I was getting ready to say, I guess it makes a difference if you have your embossing folders upside down, and it does. But so far, I think everything is okay. So I'm going to start back at the first one that I used. Put this in here. I'll definitely be doing more of this with some different types of patterns. But for now, I'm trying to focus on Christmas, you all. Make sure I get my Christmas stuff together because I would like to do December dailies like I did last year, which I was really proud of. I didn't know if I was going to make it, and some people do their December dailies from December 1st to only December 25th, but I went all the way through to December 31st, so that was kind of cool, which was good because one of my little babies was born on the 31st, so she needed to be in that book. I love my Christmas journal for sure. So let's put these on here. I'm trying to stay inside in the shot here, but I know I might be going off a little bit, so I apologize for that. But all right, tuck it in really quick. I probably don't even need to take like this whole thing off, but that's what I've been doing. So go back the other way. I was really intimidated when I first got my embossing, not my embossing machine, but my die cut machine, the Vagabond. I was like, ugh. It's kind of scary when you're using machinery, even if you're using like a drill or something like that. It's just highly intimidating. Now this one is going to be hanging off a little bit, but I'm okay with that too. I made that one kind of extra large, and even if they are kind of overlapping on each other, I think it's okay too. All right, let's put that in. Make sure my fingers are out of the way. That's when you don't want to be rushing. If you don't know where your fingers should be placed, you probably don't want to rush through this job, okay? Because you don't want to get your fingers pinched. Okay. Knock on wood. Alright, so I can go there. Go there. Let's do another one in this little one here. Let it snow. And I'll definitely show you some closer shots because otherwise I don't know if you'll be able to really kind of see what we're doing. I'm happy that I was able to get the Vagabond out because I don't think I've pulled it out probably like in months. Y'all, sorry for all the noise. Sometimes I forget about my ecosystem. Can't be like slamming stuff down on the table. Alright, here's another one. And something else that I didn't really realize, and I did research on the die cutting machines before I actually purchased one. You can use, like, this was for the Cuttlebug, which is by Cricut, I believe, and they're interchangeable, so you can use them with the other machines, which is quite cool. All right. And I think I have 2 more left. Let's take you off and take you off. And all right. And then put these in. Oh, happy, happy days. So that, oh, I have 1 more left. One that I actually crinkled up a little bit, this one. So I'm going to see how that's going to turn out. I'll use this same folder here. And you can see it's pretty quick to load these up and get them going through there. Just imagine if I had like the crank one, where you have to crank it through. That might have been a bit of a pain. Oops. All right. And let's see. Also, the good thing about doing these this way is you noticed when I first stamped them, they were kind of, they not crinkled, but they were on that roll. So like this. So even after I stamped them, they still had like that curvature. But once I ran them through the embossing folders, now they're like flat. They're not flat as a board. So even though I wrinkled this one up, it flattened it right out. Of course, it has the embossing on it. So I am going to just take all of this stuff off my desk and then I will come back. Okay, so we have the desk all cleared off. So I'm just going to just take out my vintage photo one more time. This is definitely a vintage photo type of deal. And since I have like the raised pieces of embossing, I'm just going to kind of run my brush over that embossing lightly. And what it's going to do is kind of catch the edges and give it some more depth. So let me see if I can bring this down and you can see it. Okay, so I just got done doing that one, and let's see, like this one is still kind of light, so let's just kind of give it like a little bit of a light brushing so it'll catch. Now you can see the embossing really good, right? And here's another one. And I did like different patterns too. This one just happened to have like a flower that almost has a star pattern on it, which is cool. So we're just going to go through all of these. Let me just try to make sure I'm in cam here. Yeah, I like the reindeer. They're kind of cool. Let me put this over here so I don't have to keep reaching across. And you can put as much or as little of the ink on here as you want, because it's your piece. You know, it's your business. You do what you want to do. You do what you want to do. You can use different colors if you want to. It doesn't have to be brown at all. You can use red and green, or I don't have any. I don't know. Do they make gold ink? I know they have yellow ink. I don't know if they have gold ink. I don't have a lot of colors, but I definitely need to refresh my inks because, you know, as much as we would like to think, inks don't last forever. So even though on this I got some extra smooching on there, I'm okay with the extra smooching. And let's see the angel here. this probably is smooched enough. But I'm going to do a little bit of additional smooching. So you probably would want to really do the smooching part if you have the white tape. If you're using the white tape for this, then definitely you wouldn't want that. So like I said, I didn't cut too much out of this video. So it took maybe about an hour to do 20 of these, and I'll go through and show you like all of them. And again, all the supplies, everything that I use will be down below. And if they sell the tape in like this kind of vintage looking color, I'm sure it's not called vintage, but then I'll try to find that also to link below. But I already had some, which was kind of cool. So these the uses for these, because I know people are saying, well, what are you going to do with those? You can glue them down to a page. You can kind of do some clusters with them. So we'll probably do some clusters with these as well. And I don't know, it's like it's endless. You can use these like a little bit of a flip up spot. You can even make large paper clips with these, put the paper clips at the end, and then just have it hanging down on the page. Or you can just stick them in your book and use them as a bookmark. That would be cool too. Nothing complicated about that. It's just very, 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 very pretty. So if you have a friend that does crafting and they have a whole bunch of Christmas stamps, go borrow their stamps. Don't go out and buy any. Go borrow some stamps. And then you could do some quick stamping and then leave their house. Tell them thank you. Do a wham bam thank you ma'am. And I did this one already. Okay, so that is the whole gist of this. And of course I had some I did already. And I was going to do the embossing on these. And I said I'm just going to do some that are plain that don't have any embossing on them. So you could do it that way as well. So I did a butterfly and then I have like a dragonfly here. Kind of cool. And then these I did earlier. So these don't have like the as much smooching, but it does have some of the it has the embossing on it. But they still, let's do these real quick. And then I'll do a little bit of a flip through of everything so you can see. So this is a cool project, so you all give this video a thumbs up for a cool Christmas ephemera project, or ephemera project, because you can use this for any type of journal that you have, and you can definitely customize it by using the colors and even the embossing folders. So if you have some Halloween embossing folders, you could use those in this project also. So let's take a peek at some of these that we have, because we actually have more than 20, but you know, because I'm an overachiever, I can't help myself, y'all. So we got little Christmas trees, big Christmas trees. Have some hanging over the side. Some of them, they look like there's a pattern to it. Some I just got a smidge of a little girl there, so let's move those out the way. And gotta have Santa Claus, because you know Santa Claus is the bomb diggity. Got some Let It Snows. I love that stamp. The stamp's so good. And holiday. Alright, let's move these guys out the way, because there's more. There's more. Christmas tree. And angels. And my snowman. I love the snowman. Another reindeer. So also, I was really pretty happy about this project when I decided to do it, because I was thinking, man, I'm going to really get to use my embossing folders and my stamps that I don't use, because, you know, of course, Christmas time is the only time when we really use our Christmas supplies or Christmas equipment. Would you call stamping equipment, or would you call it supplies? That's a good question. Would you call it crafting supplies, or would you call it crafting equipment? because technically it's kind of like equipment, I would say. I don't know, because you can use them over and over again, and you keep them forever. They're not really consumable. Well, you'll keep them until they dry out, unless you take really good care of your stamps. I got this big old pile. So nice. Ta-ta! And then that would be all of them. So again, give this video a thumbs up for wonderful, beautiful, embossed pocket piece Christmas ephemera. And you can head over to the Facebook group and you can share yours, because I know some of you all are going to do this. I know y'all. I know you're gonna do it. So you can head over there, and the Facebook group is Junk Journal Buddies, and the link will be below in the description. So with that, I'm going to say love, peace, and hair grease. From your sweet Lotus Blossom and lovable Lizzie, have a fantabulous day and enjoy life.